Hey everyone, welcome back to another video about the new contrast paints. As always, my name is Jay, and today I'm going to be talking and trying the new white. As I mentioned in my previous video, there are 4 colors that are kind of hard to paint, and I'm hoping that the contrast range can kind of fix those issues. Yellow, red, black, and white. The black I actually find is pretty good so far. I've been trying it out on a couple models. I think it's nice, has some good coverage, but the white is the one I'm the most concerned about. The yellow, as I said, has a bit of orangey recesses. It's like a golden yellow. Check out my previous video if you want to see me paint that up. And yeah, so today I'm going to try white. And I'm going to try white, the new white over white. And the reason why I'm going white over white is because I think that'll lead to the brightest, nicest white. I know a lot of people are trying it over the gray, but I find that the gray kind of dilutes everything and makes everything a colder, obviously a colder tone is intentional, but a duller tone. And I don't like that. So I do the colder tone if I was doing blues, dark greens, but I'm going to try the white today because I really want a pure, nice, bright, vibrant white. So I want to try this out. Now, and many people have commented already, I didn't use Space Marines in my first video, but I used Space Marines last time. I'm going to use a Space Marine this time. My reason is simple. The new Primaris Marines are easily designed for these paints. It's one solid color. It does have nice smooth surfaces and easy crevices, and as I said, it's one solid color and it's an easy one to do an example. The Primaris Marines are kind of the easiest model to try these contrast paints on. Now I'm going to try these contrast paints on some other types of models, obviously. I used Genestealer Cults in my first video, and I used a Space Marine in my second video. I'm going to use a Space Marine in this one, and the next one I might use like a Chaos Marine. We'll see. But I'm intentionally trying out different models. I just feel that this is a good example model because obviously it's smooth surfaces, it's nice armor size, and also it is a realistic application of this paint because a Space Marine would be solid white if it was a white scars. So let's get started. I'm super excited. I love trying out these new paints and I really hope you've enjoyed too. I love the comments so far we've created. Let's get started. Yes. Alright, so here we go. As you can see, I have a Reaver painted, primed white. Now, people have been asking, what have I been using for white? Have I been using the Carex white or whatever it's called primer? No, I don't use spray can primers. The reason is I live in a pretty humid area. I live in Canada, so spray can primers really aren't the best source for priming for me. I like to use airbrush primers. I use Stynylrez primer from Badger. It's my favorite primer, and as you can see, it has a nice, it does great. It has a great surface tension. It's nice and smooth. I don't use the GW ones, and I'm okay with that. I've been base coating with the Wraithbone. I can do tons of things, so that's okay. So that's the first thing. And as I said, I went with a nice bright white. That's the point, right? I want to get a nice bright white on this miniature. And to do so, I'm going to use the new Apothecary White. Now, as you can see, let's put them right beside each other. Apothecary White is a gray. It's a gray, right? It is a slightly off-white, colder gray. That makes sense. So I'm going to try it. Let's open up the pot. I'm going to give it a good shake. And let's apply a nice, healthy coat over the miniature, and let's see how this works. I'm curious, as I said. Let's do it. So I'm going to take a nice heaping brushful and start applying it over the model. Now I'm going to keep the face white because obviously I'm going to I can just paint skin tones later. So, as you can see, what I do love about these paints, as I said, the pooling starts effectively immediately, right? It does, you can even do that, but it's going to re-pool, and it does remove most of your brush strokes by just pooling in the recesses. So I'm going to cover this. Once again, what I'm going to do is, for this video, I'm going to try Lamia Medium. That's a wise viewer suggested for me. On one side of the model, I'm going to use the normal, just heaping it on, and on the other side I'm going to try Lamia Medium. Just a little bit of Lamia Medium to thin it down. Maybe it'll create a little bit more subtle of a white. But as you can see, I really do, I wanted to paint this over the white because I wanted a nice bright white. Right? If I'm painting Space Marines, I really want them to pop. Right? Makes sense. And I've seen a couple videos so far where people use the gray, right? The Seer Gray as the base coat color, and I don't know why you do that. I would like it a bright white. So this isn't bad. But as you can see, it is a gray. It's a gray, but it does settle. Like if you see the knee pads here, it's pretty much white at the peak. And as you can see, its peak is white, but it does... Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it does have some, like it definitely appears white. What I'll do is I'll isolate it. So I will thin down and use it on the arm and the backpack or something. That way I just can keep painting this way for a sec. And of course it does pool in the recesses and overall tints the raised areas as we discussed. Interesting. His face would be white. His skull, at least, would be this white. And let's do this part too. Interesting. Okay. So as I said, it's an interesting color. It does have a white feel to it. But I'm kind of curious how it dries. As I said, when it's pooling, you can clearly see that in the recesses it's a gray, right? It's definitely a gray. But in the raised areas, it does have like a white tip. Like the highest point almost seems to stay white, providing you go over white. So, interesting. And of course, after this, I'm going to take some Apothecary White and just do a quick dry brush to really bring out the surfaces and see. Because as I said in my last video, I feel like these contrast paints in certain, especially if you're painting the majority body color, in this case it'd be white, like on a Imperial Fist yellow, on a Blend Angel red, you really should just do a quick dry brush. You know, it really does scream for a quick dry brush, and it really brings the details to life. It really does. I can't emphasize that enough. It really does bring the model to life and really makes it pop. You can get away with just the contrast colors, I know, and but there we go. But it's just, it really is an easy way to bring it to the next, you know, a little bit more of a detail. It makes the raised areas really pop, and it just makes it look a little bit better. And you're going to save still so much time. You're going to save so much time by just using contrast paints that you can, you know, take a moment and do a quick dry brush. And so now I'm just going to try a little bit of Lamia Medium, and I'm going to put it in my palette here. And I'm going to take this, once again, contrast Apothecary Gray, or Apothecary White, sorry. I call it gray. Freudian slip. Thin it down. This won't act the same way. I will agree, it won't be identical, but it'd be similar. It is a medium, but it's not the contrast medium. I just couldn't get the contrast medium, and I'll order some. So let's try on the arm. Just to thin down. As you can see, it definitely is thinner. Oh yeah, definitely thinner. Alright, let's try the arm. That's not bad. A little thinner, I find that it stays more white in the raised areas if you thin it down. Not bad. Okay. And, okay, not bad. And I'll try it on the backpack as well. The thinned down white. cool. Yeah, I like it when it's slightly thinned down, actually. I don't know if you can tell, but just looking at it, the backpack is definitely closer to a white and also has better detail than the non-thin down. But that's okay. Let me just I'm just gonna let this dry for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and see how it dries. Okay, so I let it dry, and I'm actually quite impressed. Look at this. I'd say right now this is still in the realm of white. You know, it's a colder white for sure, but it's a bit gray, as you can see. So I tried a couple things. Number one, this side, the rest of the body is just the normal, straight from the pot, and I like it. I do actually prefer, it's a little bit lighter if you use the medium. Now I use Lamia medium in this case to see if I can, you know, emulate the results, but a little thinner. And I think this white actually has, you know, a chance to be used. This isn't bad. But, as I mentioned, I think that this is screaming a highlight. So I'm going to take some Percsetti White right now, and I'm going to do a quick dry brush over the miniature because I really want to make this white pop. I want to make it stand out. I want to clean it up slightly. Let's do it because I just, I think if you left it at this, it's white. Like, I think it's white, but it's really dirty. Like, it's just dirty, and yeah. So let's get some Percsetti White on this miniature. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick, let's just get all pigment as much off it as I can. Yeah, let's do a little more on the brush. This is interesting. Like I said, I'm kind of wondering how it's going to turn out. So here we go. Just to make the details pop a little bit more, let's use a dry brush. Some Percsetti White and just focus on the raised areas. Just a quick light dry brush, try to pick up on all those surfaces. I know this is a pretty big dry brush. It's okay, I'm not using that much pigment. Here we go. Once again, just repeat to pick up on some of the surfaces to make them really, just makes them pop a little bit. As you can see, it'll really bring the edges and the raised areas to life. And what it'll also do is it will warm up, not warm up, but it'll bring this closer to white. Okay, so I'm just going to hit this with a couple more light dry brushings, and we'll see how it turns out. Excellent. Alright, and so I just added some couple tones just to show you the whites, because with the whole model being white, it's hard to tell, you know, relative. So I added just the flesh tone for Gilliman Flesh, and the hair I used Black Templar. But wow, look at that. It's definitely a little dirty, as you can see here, but I'm actually really impressed. This would pass to white to me. This would definitely be white. I definitely think if you do use this color, if you want to paint like black, white scars, definitely use a dry brush, either a Percsetti White or White Scar. That way it really makes the raised areas really pop. And, but yeah, look at that. I'm actually more impressed than I thought I would be. It's definitely dirty, but this is white. Like, this to me would pass off as white, and it was really easy to do. I primed it white, and I still think that that's the best way to go, is to prime the model white, and then use this, the white paint over the white, and then just do a dry brush of white. Right? White, white, white equals white. Makes sense. But I'm actually more impressed with this paint than I thought I would be. I thought it turned out to be more gray or dull, but with the dry brush, I would definitely say this is a viable option for painting white models. Excellent. There you go. So that concludes my quick review of the new contrast white paint, Apothecary White. I actually really like it. As I said, it appears dirty. It is like a dirty gray, but if you use a dry brush and really pick up on those raised areas and the edges, it really does make it look white. But it's a slightly dirty white, but that's what I would do. You know, if you want some definition, you want the recesses to be shaded, and I really like it. In the end, for the amount of time this took, as you saw, like you saw me paint the model, it was minutes. And the white being done in that amount of time is amazing. It's going to definitely be a time saver. If you're painting white scars, this could definitely be a really great time saver, or if you're painting just smaller white areas as well. But I really like it. I'm actually impressed. What do you think? I definitely think the answer is to go over white primer, though. Some people have been going over the gray primer, and I don't like the results. I think it's too cold and too off-white. But what do you think? Leave comments in the comment section down below. Let's create a discussion about the new contrast paints. What do you think about Apothecary White? Do you recommend going over the gray? I think the best answer is to go over the white. And in the end, I'm happy with the result based on the amount of time. I do think a quick dry brush is the solution, though. I wouldn't finish just with the Apothecary White. I would do a quick dry brush. And that really brings the model life. Of course, it only takes an extra minute for the model, and seeing as you save so much time anyway, I think it's worth it for sure. So, stay tuned for more videos about the new contrast paints. I'm going to try out a few more things. Leave comments in the comment section down below what you think so far. What do you think about the new Apothecary White? Do you have any extra tips for using the Apothecary White? Let's create a discussion. And as always, thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Stay tuned for more videos, and this is always brought to you by my Patreon campaign. As you can see, their names go by my head. It's because of them that I keep making these reviews. So stay tuned for more reviews. Until next time, this is Jay saying happy painting with the new contrast paints.